Well, obviously, China has changed. It's one of the most extraordinary transitions in human history. When I first went there in 1985, the streets of Beijing were empty apart from thousands of bicycles. But my acquaintance with China began much, much earlier than 1985, when I was a schoolboy at a boarding school in Kent. We had a history master, at least he pretended to be a history master, a Lao She. He taught us for a year about China, about the history of the Chinese Republic, about Dr. Sun Yat-sen, about the warlords, the Japanese invasion, the triumph of the Communist Party.
Your interest in China started
My interest in China started then. And then when I joined the diplomatic service straight from Oxford, you're tested on your aptitude for hard languages. I chose Arabic because in those days the Camel Corps, the Arabists, ruled the diplomatic service.
Do you speak fluent Arabic?
I do speak fluent Arabic.
Do you speak any Chinese?
Only a few words.
So speaking fluent Arabic, you have been working with China over the past decade.
I said to Premier Li Qiang in Beijing in May, I said, "Wo ai Zhongguo," and he laughed at my terrible Putonghua.
Yeah, it's like, I love China. That's just what you said to him.
Yes.
And what did he say?
He laughed. He didn't.
What is the reason behind your career choice of working with China back then?
Well, I went into the Foreign Office. I did all sorts of jobs, working for the head of the Foreign Office, working as Chief of Staff for the Foreign Minister. China is a vast market. It's a very sophisticated market. Of course, there are challenges, the regulatory environment, language, culture. I think one area where China has made huge progress is in protecting foreign intellectual property. It used to be a worry if you went to China, you would have your intellectual property purloined in some way. That has been addressed by China very successfully. So it's a challenging market, but the rewards are enormous. China can transform your business. I mean, we had one member who made, I don't know if you know what a jukebox is, a little business outside Leeds in Yorkshire, where this man made electronic faux 1960s jukeboxes, and he was selling one a week. And then he got a phone call from China, "We want 50 a week." And this man has become a millionaire through selling jukeboxes to China. It's that sort of effect.
So the two countries are complementary in many
ways. Very much so. And we're sitting here in the city of London, this amazing view. And of course, Britain is primarily a service economy. China is moving rapidly towards a service economy, but it's still the great manufacturing economy, the greatest manufacturing economy on earth.
And also mutual trust is very important, apparently, and there are so many organizations that are trying their best to contribute to that, including the CBBC and CCCUK.
Yes.
And how do you think these two organizations are working together to
very
facilitate
closely.
trade ties?
I mean, Mr. Feng Wenjian, who's also General Manager of the Bank of China here, he's a great friend of the UK. He's also a personal friend. He and I meet regularly, we talk even more often, we work together. Next January we'll be taking part with the 48 Group Club in the annual Icebreakers Dinner, which is the really central celebration of the UK-China economic and commercial relationship.
So we know geopolitical tensions often spill over into the economic realm, and you said, I'm quoting you, that you want the CBBC to be an advocate for economic and commercial engagement between the UK and China in as apolitical a way as possible. Does it suggest that it is not that easy?
No, it hasn't been easy. We've had a difficult time. We've had I don't know, 5 prime ministers in the UK in almost as many years. We've had a Conservative Party ridden with tensions about attitudes to China. We've now got a government that I think, I hope, believe, almost know will be much more pragmatic to China. I'm very hopeful that we're entering, I wouldn't call it a golden era, but certainly a new era of pragmatic cooperation that is win-win in both sides' interests.
And as a business professional, what are you expecting from the, you said, new era? And we know the newly elected Labour government said it would reassess the UK's relations with China within 100 days of taking office. And what are you expecting from that?
Well, I hope very much, and the Foreign Secretary has already said this, that we can resume engagement at the level of Cabinet Minister. We have goods and services to sell China. We have goods and services we need from China. I mean, the truth is, if we're serious about the transition to net zero, we can't do it without Chinese battery technology, without Chinese solar panels, without Chinese wind turbines. So we have to work together.
Speaking of net zero, so recently the new Chancellor said the UK wouldn't follow suit to impose additional tariffs on Chinese-made EVs. So have you seen an increasing trend in China-UK cooperation in the field of net zero?
Very much so. I mean, all sorts of areas, a lot going on. I mean, if we go down to the street below, we will see
BYD buses.
BYD, yeah. But not just BYD buses, Build Your Dreams. The London Electric Vehicle Company, owned by Geely.
Yeah,
I drive a hybrid Volvo, owned by Geely. And I hope we'll see many more Chinese electric vehicles in the UK.
You may like it, but some are saying that China is overproducing its solar panels, its electric vehicles, and China is dumping its products in the European market. But we do see different rhetoric here.
It's better to have an electric vehicle made in a factory in Shenzhen or in the Yangtze Valley.
That are more affordable.
More efficient, and to have financial services manufactured here in the City of London and sold into China, or architectural services, or whatever it may be. That's the theory of comparative advantage at work.
In the meantime, how much weight do you think the US carries in China-UK relations?
Well, it has had a negative influence in the past. I've publicly said what is well known, that the second decision by the Boris Johnson's government to rip Huawei equipment out of the UK telecoms network wasn't driven by national security. It was driven by American pressure. It's cost Britain about £10 billion and a 3-year delay in the rollout of 5G. So it's a challenge. We have to pursue our national interests, and we have to realize that national security, which is genuine and must be protected, is not the same as America's national superiority. There's a difference. And so Britain needs to stand up for its own national interests, the interests of our people, working with our European partners, and not succumb to pressure from others where it's not in our national interest to do so.